WEF says depopulation will save elites and drown the rest. Their words. I have receipts. I'm going to play the clip of them actually saying this. They tell you what they're going to do to you. Satan has to let you know what the evil that he's going to do to you before he do it to you. And that's exactly what these elites are admitted to, the evil that they want to do to us. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store. Also, check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for news as well. All right, let's talk about this news. Now, this comes from Slate News, another awesome WEF article from the great Frank Bergman. And he reports that the World Economic Forum has issued a chilling warning about how a global depopulation event would impact humanity. The unelected globalist organizations has revealed details of a so-called Noah's Ark that will supposedly, quote, save the elites during an event that will wipe out most humans on Earth, straight out of a sci-fi movie. The WEF has accused global elites that they will be saved from depopulation while the rest are left to drown. Details of the stomach churning plan were revealed by senior WEF official Yuval Noah Harari. And y'all know I talked about this evil man before. Harari is a senior advisor to the WEF and its founder, Klaus Schwab. A self described transhumanist, Harari is widely credited as the architect behind the WEF's anti human agenda. Harari argues that technological development, such as artificial intelligence, will ultimately make humans redundant. According to Harari, most of humanity will become useless and a burden for the handful of elites who control the new AI driven world. Speaking during a recent WEF panel, Harari laid out the plans for a mass depopulation event, assuring globalist elites that they would be spared. Quote, if bad comes to worse, Harari explains, when the flood comes, the scientists will build a Noah's Ark for the elites, leaving the rest to drown. So that goes to show me that Harari doesn't know anything about the Bible, because the Bible clearly states that God will not destroy the planet again through a flood. So I don't even know why he's even talking about Noah's Ark. But I think this is just an example of them saying, we're going to look out for ourselves. If the world decides to end, we're going to be okay. We're going to let y'all suffer. Y'all plebes suffer. Well, Harari acknowledged that the plan, quote, doesn't benefit the vast majority of civilization. Of course not. But then again, these are the same people who said that, oh, our policies will help everyone. We're here to save the world. Yet in the same breath, he goes and said, well, wink, wink, we're really not going to save everyone. It's just us elites. So I'm gonna play the clip of him actually admitting this. He's saying the quiet part out loud. Here we go.
You have a small elite that pushes things in its own interests, even if it doesn't benefit the vast majority of the population. This has happened so many times previously in history, and it's probably going to happen again. One of the biggest dangers to the planet today is this technological utopia, because probably for the elite it will work. If bad comes to worse, then when the flood comes, the scientists will build a Noah's Ark for the elite, leaving the rest to drown, the rest of the people and then the rest of the ecosystem. But they are likely to be able to construct this technological Noah's Ark, which is probably what much of the elite is counting on.
He admitted it. They are admitting it. It goes for all of their policies. Everything that they're pushing, the global warming farce, jabs, everything is not for the benefit of the entire population. It's for the benefit of the elites. They want the power. They want the control. They're going to save themselves. And he said, he admitted it, he will leave the rest of us to drown. So why do people still believe these people have our best interests at heart? They completely, I mean, they admit that they don't. But the calls come amid a growing push from WEF members to reduce population numbers. As Slate News previously reported, a celebrated member of the WEF has called for a staggering 86% reduction in the population of humans, arguing that goal can be achieved peacefully. Now, I've seen numbers as high up as 90 something percent. But the call was made by Dennis Meadows, one of the main authors of the Club of Rome 1972 pro depopulation book, The Limits to Growth. Meadows is considered an architect of the WEF's agenda, with his theories on population numbers being central to the organization's anti human agenda. Even though his numbers have been disproved, we all know that the entire country of the United States, if not the world, can fit inside Texas. And so we do not have a population problem. And then they try to lie and say, oh, it's the resources. We don't have a problem with resources either. It's the elites that are taking from everyone else that's the real problem. But Meadows argues that most of the world's population must be wiped out so that the survivors can, quote, have freedom and a high standard of living. And during the 2017 interview, Meadows claimed that genocide of 86% of the world's population is inevitable. However, he insists that a benevolent dictatorship could accomplish the mass depopulation peacefully. Y'all know I reported this before. He said, quote, we could have 8 or 9 billion, probably, he says, of the world's growing population if we have a very strong dictatorship with the smart and people have a low standard of living, Meadows says, as he explains how the population reduction agenda could be triggered. But we want to have freedom and we want to have a high standard of living, so we're going to have a billion people. He says, like, that's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. He then warned that we have to get back down to just 1 billion people on Earth. More recently, another WEF member upped the ante by calling for more than a 90% reduction in humans, as Slate News reported. This is what I was alluding to. English pragmatologist and anthropologist Jane Goodall, who the WEF lists as one of its agenda contributors, pushed a shocking suggestion for meeting the globalist organization's net zero targets. Goodall told her fellow globalists that they could, quote, save the planet from global warming if the Earth's population was over 90% smaller than it is today. Goodall argues that all of the WEF's problems would be solved if fewer humans were walking the Earth. I think I might have showed the clip of her saying that as well. And she made the statement during a panel discussion at the organization's annual summit in Davos, Switzerland. The panel was discussing plans for achieving net zero to comply with the targets for Agenda 2030 as dictated by the WEF and its fellow unelected globalist organization, the United Nations. Quote, we cannot hide away from human population growth, she told frustrated elites, because it underlies so many of the other problems, she continued. All of these problems that we talk about wouldn't be a problem if there was a size of the population that was 500 years ago. As of March 2024, Earth's humans population is estimated to be 8.1 billion people. 500 years ago, as Goodall, a renowned anthropologist, would know, the population of humans was approximately 435 million. To satisfy Goodall's suggestion to solve globalist problems, 94.6% of humanity would need to go. And that's exactly what they're really pushing for. But let me know what you think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time.